I'm extremely curious to find out which extreme of metal mood Temple of Hate hits, because I could see a pool of possibilities floating between ballad and harsh, and Sacrificium has permitted both types of extremes, or anything in between. And my presumption is based on Temple of Hate as a title and the spirit it conveys. We're in for more of a erratic, harsh number, I would think. Erratic pleasantly. I don't use that in negative context, because XANDRIA's scores, I consider the reverence I have to them in any era I've exposed myself to. In this historical deep dive we're taking of their deliveries in past album issues, beyond present-day standing of what welcomed me into a XANDRIA relationship, and then diving deeper with even further back pictures than this, notably with Neverworld's End, starting there, and now going into the next entry of Sacrificium. In the midst of, it's a two-handed journey, because on the one hand it's a XANDRIA deep dive, as well as a Diana von Giersbergen exposure journey. One of my favorite vocalists so far in the European venue, notably of spinto soprano operatic capability, and that's something that's definitely grown on me over time. Thank you to Symphonic Metal for that. Anyway, that'll be quite a large journey, even beyond the XANDRIA door, but this is the first footing in what will become a good range of projects, in fact, on Phase 2. I'm considering the body of what I have yet to investigate, and we will be spending a lot of time with Diana's vocal credits. Understandably so if you're knowledgeable of her. Dutch-based, as I said, spinto soprano singer, who I believe is also a vocal coach, I'm pretty sure, now working on her own project that we're going to be getting to. I can't wait to get to Diana. But XANDRIA, Ex Libris, these other entries we're looking at. I cannot wait for Ex Libris either. Any window we're getting into her capability as an artist is quite welcome. And with XANDRIA's amplification, this really was a golden era of their tenure. Though, I will again state, as I have in the past couple of entries, and there's quite a debate in terms of perspective within the XANDRIA community as to which is everybody's favorite. I happen to be somebody that likes any era I've exposed myself to, again, in the window we've entertained together in mutual consultations. Music is best enjoyed that way. And of course, as always, I hope there is a welcome mat entrance for you, whether you're a longtime fan that advances me or an initiate listener. German-based symphonic metal, again, to be particular, so you're on even footing with me if you are a developing listener of theirs. And if Temple of Hate is your first entrance, I would recommend, as I've been saying with Sacrificium, you start at the beginning and work your way down. It is advantageous to your experience with this album. Take it from me, I've humored every number in full in our journey together, which was a bit of an impulsive decision, but I think warranted and delivered on. And we're going to continue to see an evolution together into these last 3 numbers we'll be humoring, starting with Temple of Hate. But that's my recommendation I would give to you. It is definitely worth your time to take the Sacrificium route in full, I would say. And I'm sure many, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I'm sure there'll be a general consensus of that in the comment section. Whether, again, you're familiarized lightly to XANDRIA or a dominant fan of theirs. I really like this era, though. Again, I like each picture of XANDRIA from what I've seen in terms of all 3 vocalists I'm familiarized to, between Manuela Crelaer, Diana von Giersbergen, and Amba Vuverhuis. But Diana's really charming me, again, with the vocal involvement and the scores here. Really impressive, highly capable works from XANDRIA, as always. Let's see which extreme together that Temple of Hate hits. Again, I'm leaning toward the harsh, but it could be a ballad. I don't know. We're going to find out for ourselves, of course, in mutual companionship, aren't we? As we always do. I love these deep dives to take, especially on Fresh Initiation, and XANDRIA has been a great retreat. Especially, again, in the midst of the Diana von Giersbergen era. I love that we've finally gotten to here after months of trying. We're making serious headway together, you and I. I'm really hearing the German folk vibe of this. I don't know if that's what they were going for. There's an incredible pairing. Yeah, natural folk swing to this one. Differentiated voices on part of XANDRIA's delivery of Sacrificium. I like the evolution, though. Bit of more intense back, and it really is like a folk metal side. I'm not listening to a Feuerschwangs number, am I? I could be, based on that opener. Maybe not with the pacing switches we're experiencing now. Quite deliberate, in fact. Good piercing quality of the score.
Every day I am facing a new way of chasing the dreams I am losing in constant defense. The world keeps on turning, the beds are still burning.
A lot of key shifts within this first verse. It's quite curious. Not what I foresaw based on our opener. The end caps are perfect. the natural vibrato. It's a bit lighter here in this in the chorus sections, but it's well molded. Refrain back into the original opener. The opener doesn't pave a direction like this. It's quite fascinating. A lot of variance and evolution with this number. Quite a visual picture. The layered choir vocal, or maybe it's a layered Diana presence. The spinto edge on the higher inflection on that no note is great. Real standout moment. Okay, I'll return to the opener. Really interesting direction to this one. Because the opener establishes a more familiarized mood of Sacrificium, but the verses depart. Let's see if that's maintained in the last iteration. I could see potential variation, I don't know yet. We still have quite a window to judge on this number. Good instrumental break though, again, deliberate scoring here with part of the riff design. This was quite traditional in a metal pattern. Okay, mimicked key variation. An unevenness. Back to the opener again. Deliberate folk energy. I really again see that blend. Quicken pace. We're going back. I'm leaving to the last chorus. Pretty soon. Should be. Well paced though.
Take it away. Take it from me. Take it from me. Falling astray.
Keeps in key.
Under the surface of my smiling face.
Mid shift. Really light touches here again in the raised inflection. Definitely a point of departure. And the closure mimics our last chorus. Very interesting scope of this one. This one definitely takes its own direction. There's been a couple pieces off of Sacrificium that have expressed a wildness in key changes and score path, but that one really departs. I mean, look at how we entertain it, as I said, on entrance. German folk rock and folk metal vibe immediately. You initiate and you think, like, if you're me, this almost sounds like a Feuerschwang score or something of that type of ilk. And yet, it's still XANDRIA because the symphonic voice comes quickly right in, and it still mimics that formality of entrance. And then you entertain the first couple of verses, and then you start to see this independent path directed by the key melding into a different pitch, which is really interesting. because it's not foretold by the direction of a song on entrance, and yet it mimics the fantasy overlay that is transcendent throughout the duration of a number, I think. It's a compelling thread that is well executed. It's just far different than what I'm sure many of you probably agree. The foretelling suspicion you get from this number, and the recap of the opener, I think, yes, there's the instrumental bridge later on, before we get to the last chorus iteration, or the entrance into the pre-chorus section. You think to yourself it might cap off with the original maintenance of the key, and that the lyrics will then return to that original framework and deviate from the contrasted separation that they're exhibiting within the main body of the song. And yet it chooses to depart even more so, or at least the first section of the pre-chorus keeps in time with it. And then the separation, I believe, comes up, I think, under the but I will keep it line. I might have that wrong. But then it starts to unwind again, and the closure mimics the change. That's a really interesting path of this one. Again, the focus of it is spread out a bit, even though there is a deliberate structuring that is immediately noticeable when you study the changes and where they're placed and how they echo, especially in the original body of the number prior to the instrumental break. You see the mimicry between the chorus constructions and the entrances within the verses that open us up to the number. It's just got a really interesting map, and its field of vision is quite astounding in its liberty, I would say. Though, again, familiarity and expectation of precision in execution from a symphonic mental regard or vocal prowess, and that is readily exhibited, notably, again, those end little trails with the pre-choruses into the opening verse section, but the now lines, I love the blend. If that's between a choir melding and Diana, I don't know, it might just be a dual layering for her credit, but it's a great addition. I kind of found it a little bit funny, but not in a bad way. I found it a very endearing employment. I really like the direction, though, Temple of Hate. I think it's got an even placement between, I would say, ballad and directly harsh extremes. It's sort of in the middle space. It intertwines both tones naturally. Good interplay on different extremes, good feel to it, even if very independently exercised and liberated, I would say, in its own respect. Quite artistic. XANDRIA has a capability of masterful craftsmanship. I think we're all witnessing that together, aren't we? Certainly I would. That's the sentiment I come away with this number feeling. I'd love to hear if that's echoed for you down below in your own experience. Of course, music is an individualized encounter, so what do you think of A Temple of Hate? And your approach to it? Longtime fan of XANDRIA, fresh initiate listener? What is your response? I think it's quite a capable number. Very adventurous, not what I've foreseen, but again, the capability and the reach of what XANDRIA's scores intertwine. And on variance, it is seemingly, at least at first, the most unfocused work of theirs, and then you realize as soon as you look at the number in reflection, you consider the mapping and how other verses intersect, how the instrumental transitions couple one another. There's a clear footing to the song. It just takes such a differentiated path from what I would expect based on our first footing of it into a folk metal vibe. That's, again, the synonymy I immediately see on notice. It just spins itself in its own vision, quite capably and boastfully, with the sophistication I expect directly from XANDRIA, and I get nothing less of, even if, again, I can't predict its direction, and I find a pleasantness in that. It's a bit of a surprise number. I would imagine, for all of us on Fresh Experience, if we're entertaining Sacrificium in full, it does depart independently. And I like the individuality with this piece. I'm quite charmed by it the more I think on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.